And welcome to Tackle the Board. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter, and my co-host Russ Reese, the Vegas line reader. How are we doing?
Doing well. Another winning weekend. We talked about it last week. Ended up losing on Oregon was one of my big plays. Lost on that. They got killed. But then ended up hitting on the Chargers. That was one of my big ones on Sunday. And then finished it off with the Patriots on Monday night. Just took their under on the 19.5. Definitely helped with that weather. Taking the under 2 made it much more easier to hit that game. Mac Jones, what did he have? 2 or 3 passes in that game?
Yeah, he had 3 passes. He was 2 for 3.
Yeah,
2 for 3.
yeah. So yeah, he was looking good out there. So good. Just keep handing that ball off. When they gave up that breakaway run in the first quarter, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, don't start this crap. And then Patriots literally did nothing the rest of the game scoring wise. And then it took the Bills finally in the fourth quarter to figure out, hey, just run through the hole and tackle the running back, get aggressive, stop just sitting back. So definitely a good weekend. And you had a great weekend on the show, giving out the picks I saw, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Went 5-0 this week on the
Very
Tackle the
nice.
Board show, free for the people. We hit on the Western Kentucky over. That was no problem. Northern Illinois scoring quick points in the beginning, which was not quite what I expected, but it helped the over for sure. I mean, they're just a running team, but they had a really good game plan, and they ended up pulling off that win. A lot of people had Western Kentucky. I actually liked Western Kentucky as well, but they didn't pull it off. But NFL, I was right there with you. I love the Chargers. That was a great game. The Eagles, didn't even matter if Minshew Magic was in. They covered that game as well. Great spot there. Cowboys on Thursday night. That was a spot where people thought the Saints could have covered there, and just that wasn't happening with that offense. So great week, 5-0. If you guys have any questions at all about any games at all, be sure to hit us up on the chat. Check on in. I've been getting DMs of late, so I've been loving hearing from you guys and getting your questions and everything. So I think we should just get this week started to keep it running hot, and we're going to keep it rolling over here.
All right.
So let's see what we got over here. We got our first game over here. It's the Raiders at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are an 8.5-point favorite. What are you liking over here, Russ?
I'm going to take the Chiefs over 28.5 team total points here. So I got the best quarterback in NFL coming off 2 straight games where he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. The last time Mahomes, he went into that little cold streak. He actually went off for 41 points the last time he faced the Raiders. So there are 6 teams in NFL that have given up 22 passing touchdowns or more this season. Mahomes has faced 4 of those teams this year. He put up 41 against the Raiders, 33 against the Browns, 41 versus the Eagles, and 31 against Washington. So definitely give me over 28.5 points here. I just see the teams healthy, clicking again. And I just see the Raiders are just falling apart. I don't even think they're going to care about this game. So give me the Chiefs here over 28.5 points.
Yeah, the offense is finally clicking at the right point, Russ. We've been waiting for this for like weeks upon weeks. We thought we were going to get ahead of the curve, and it's been taking a while. Now it's starting to roll a little bit. Mahomes is starting to feel a little bit. They're actually relying on the running game a little bit more. Andy Reid not really known for that running game, but the running game's been helping them out a lot to open up the pass game. So that's been really big for them. So, the Raiders downfall. They're going in a little downward spiral. They just lost that heartbreaker to the Washington football team right there. That was an ugly, ugly game. A game I did not want any parts of one bit. 2 bad teams going at it. And I'm right there with you. I think they should be able to put up a lot of points against the Raiders. I mean, last time they played, they put on that was like their first game back where they were putting on that onslaught on offense in Las Vegas. So I don't think anything changes from that. And especially being at home, I think this will be a great spot as well.
Definitely. So we're going to jump into the next game. This is a game that we both actually like. It's the Dallas Cowboys -3.5 at Washington. Who you got here?
So I was looking at this game, and Washington. We talked about them, throughout the entire year, how much I really don't like them here. For the most part, this is a spot where the Cowboys are actually getting a pretty favorable line for the most part. It's 3.5. Washington's coming off 4 straight wins and 4 against the spread wins. The Cowboys got right on Thursday night, just as I planned it. They beat the Saints by 10, pretty much a dominating game for the most part. The big key stats here is the passing here. Cowboys are 4th in passing yards, and Washington is 30th in passing yards against. They cannot stop the pass. That Cowboys offense is pretty much healthy to 100%. So this will be a really good spot for them to let that offense flourish and everything. And they're 2nd in points scored. And now they got an offense that's healthy. That's scary, Russ.
No, definitely. Yeah. So I'm glad. I like the Cowboys too here. I mean, the Cowboys, they're a playoff caliber team here. They've been very quiet this past month. No one's been talking about them. If anyone's been talking about it, it's been bashing them. And then Washington coming off they're on a 4-game win streak and they're catching a lot of steam here. In that 4-game winning streak, they're not even doing anything special. They're averaging 22.5 points per game on offense in this win streak. They finally just got the 500 last week. Now I see them falling back again. And every game Washington has lost this season, it's all been by 4 points or more. So I just do not see the Cowboys losing here. I'll happily take them only -3.5 with the public taking Washington. So give me the Cowboys -3.5.
Yeah, exactly. And the Cowboys are coming off embarrassing double revenge against Washington from last year. Not only are they losses, but they're extremely embarrassing losses. So there's a lot to think about here with the Cowboys in this game. And on top of that, Cowboys are 14-2, including this season that includes 2-0 as division favorites of greater than 2 points. So when they're a favorite in the division, they typically cover. And Washington is 1-8 versus division opponent off a straight up win. The Cowboys off of that Thursday night victory. So this is a slam dunk. This is like Russ and I were agreeing with the Chargers here. You guys got to jump on this. Cowboys, they should win by at least a touchdown. I absolutely love this play. And this is where it's at over here. So
Definitely.
That's what we're going with. And we got Jason checking in. He says, hey, Russ, VIP member of the team, picks or money.
Yeah, the VI. That's how we've been money. He doesn't see my face right now, holding it in right now at the moment. Literally 30 seconds ago, when the show started, I just took like one of the worst beats ever. We just had Indiana up a ton. They were up 17 at half. Dude got outscored by 22, and they're +4.5. They lost by 5 exactly. Didn't score the whole last 3 minutes. I'm just like, okay, just score it. Just keep the game close. I'm just like, holy shit, what just happened? So it's all good. We're gonna make money on the next one. So we're gonna stick the what's he got there?
All right, my boy Rich is checking in. He says alt line just like last week with San Diego.
I forgot all about that. Remember we said that minus 13.5 was +650. That was awesome.
Outrageous. Thanks for checking in, Mitch. Yeah, I mean, if you can lay like 9.5 with the Cowboys, I think this is a double-digit victory. I just don't think they're gonna be able to stop them on offense. I think they're just gonna put the hurting on them. There's a lot of revenge, and I'm not a big revenge guy in the NFL, but when it comes to division games and getting your butt whooped in a sweep last year, I mean, McCarthy knows they got to do something big here, and the offense is the healthiest it has been all year. And they can't stop anyone from passing. So, I'm laying 9.5 if you can get that plus money.
Yeah, and Washington, their impressive win was against the Bucs, the start of the win streak. But these last couple games, I mean, what did they just beat the Raiders without Waller, and then they just beat Seattle Seahawks. That team's a mess too. So it's not like they're beating like these playoff caliber teams at all. So they're going to be stepping up in class here against the Cowboys, and people are thinking that Washington's good. So definitely don't trust them.
And speaking of, Jason's checking. He says the Cowboys laying 3.5. I feel like it's a trap. I beg to differ. I think they're actually begging you to take Washington there.
Yeah, if you saw Washington playing bad lately, like the past couple games, but with Washington playing so hot, it seems like the public's siding on the Washington side, thinking that they're getting value with points when they're just being fooled right there. So definitely like the Cowboys here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll jump into your next game. Detroit Lions at the Denver Broncos. The spread's at -7.5. Who you got here?
I got the Broncos here. Plain and simple. I preach this every week. Bad teams covering or let alone winning outright. This is a good spot to fade the Lions here. They have to travel to Mile High, which is a real tough place to play, especially with the altitude and everything. The Lions are coming off 4 straight against the spread wins here. The Broncos' terrible performance against the Chiefs. Bridgewater actually outplayed Mahomes in that game based on the stats, which is pretty outrageous when I was looking at the box score there. The Broncos' defense is ranked 3rd in points allowed per game. their defense outweighs the Lions in every aspect in offense. I mean, they should be able to dominate the Lions, especially with their terrible offense. Majority of the team, and Russ, you even talked about this before. Majority of the public taking a bad team. We're running into
Mhm.
this with the Lions.
Yeah, and Bridgewater, people have been hating on Bridgewater too, so I could see him having a nice little game here against the easy defense. And you got to think the Lions won their Super Bowl last week, going
Mhm.
nuts and everything. So that's coming off that emotional game. You got to think this is a non-conference too, so that's a good for you too. So non-conference don't really care about the game, so they could just come out flat in this spot.
Yeah, and the Broncos rush game is ranked 12th with rushing yards, and the Lions are 28th in rush yards against. So they can't stop the run. The Broncos love to run the ball. And the Broncos are 10-1 in their last 11 games after scoring less than 15 points in their previous game. And then Vic Fangio is 9-1 off division games. And finally, the Broncos are 10-1 of faves greater than 4 versus an opponent off a straight up dog win. This is just leaning all Broncos. We're getting the betting public on the other side. So give me the Broncos all day.
Yeah, Javonte Williams is also this is when like these late in the season running backs who are young and are studs, they start getting more carries. He was showing signs last week of what he can do. So next week he's probably gonna end up going off, I bet.
And speaking of bad teams over here, the next game we got the Saints at the Jets. Jets are getting 5.5 points for us. Where are you going with this game?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets team total under 19 points. So we got the Saints defense. They're fifth in NFL in rushing yards allowed a game. The last 3 games, they gave up an average of 167 rushing yards
That's insane.
in those 3 games. That's 31st in the NFL in that span. So you could just tell that they're just getting steamed here with just a little cold streak, just playing bad against the run these past 3 games. And these are all teams that are pretty good, that we're all good teams that run the ball on offense. So it's not like the Saints were playing bad teams. So this just seems like a get right spot for the Saints defense, who should shut down the Jets and make Zach Wilson actually try to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Last week was the only game of the season where Zach Wilson actually had 3 total touchdowns. So I don't see him having a repeat good performance here. Then we got Kamara. He's going to be coming back for this game. Taysom Hill loves to run the ball, so I see them running a lot of
You
clock
can't
in this
throw it.
game. Yeah, and the Jets' offensive possessions, they'll be very limited in this game. So definitely give me the Jets under the 19 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that Kamaro's coming back because you're gonna be able to
Mhm.
control the clock a lot more with him, with the pass game and the run game with him. So a lot of running the clock out gives the Jets less possessions, especially a bad team getting less possessions. And on top of that, a defense that really needs to prove something the last couple of weeks because they've been coming
Mhm.
out really flat. So what better recipe than to get right against one of the worst teams in the league in the Jets? So I like that under as well. Team total. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly, you're actually kind of getting kind of value with the Saints this week. I mean, I'm not personally taking the
Mhm.
5.5, but if I were to take a side of this game, I would take the Saints here because you got like a couple more of their weapons back. So that's definitely something to consider as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's the thing. I was like, the only thing I was worried about is I'm like, do I trust the Saints? They got to get me to 27 points or whatever. So I'm just like, if you're betting a game, sometimes you just can just go with
Mhm.
that total or whatever, and
Right,
I
right.
just feel more comfortable with the Jets because I know the Saints. I feel like they could cover this spread, but I just don't want to trust Taysom Hill. Who knows what he's going to do, you know? But I just know he's going to run a lot and be
Mhm.
running that clock, though.
Yeah, that's gonna be very important for a team total under with the Jets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll jump into your next game. It's going to be the 49ers at the Bengals. And the spread right now is Bengals +1. Who you got here?
Yeah, this has been going back and forth a little bit. 49ers, they started off as +1. Now the 49ers are starting to get a little steam. So I still like them regardless of that. I think there's some sharp money coming in on the 49ers. Joe Burrow last week, he had a really bad injury with his pinky on his throwing arm. There might be a chance he doesn't play. We'll see if he does play. I don't know how effective he is going to be throwing the ball. I mean, I think it's not going to be anything outstanding with him for the most part. And there's even a chance that Debo Samuel returns this week. He talked about joining the team this week.
Mhm.
We're going to keep an eye out on that.
That's
That'll
yeah. That sounds about right. That's probably why the line moved.
So that's probably why the line moved, and I think that's even better. I'll be happy to lay the one instead of getting the one. It doesn't matter to me. And guess what? Kittle is back. He's healthy. He's gonna be trouble for the Bengals. The Bengals ranked 24th in the NFL in defending the tight end, so he should be able to eat here. He did last week. They got to keep feeding him the ball. 49ers coming off a tough spot against a desperate Seahawks team that we both loved last week. Well, I especially liked a lot. But they, a team that lost their last 3 and lost 2 against the spread, and that was where I liked Seattle last week. And they got a little turnover luck on their side. It was just a bad, disastrous move for the 49ers when it comes down to it. It was just a bad combination for them, and they weren't going to win that game. It just wasn't their week. They're a very desperate Seahawks team. So I think this is a good spot for them to get back, get right. 49ers, they have an advantage on both sides of the ball when it comes to this matchup. Offense against defense, defense against offense. And the 49ers red zone DVOA offensively is second in the NFL. And Cincy's red zone defense is 26th in the NFL. So they should be able to score one and get in there. Kyle Shanahan is also 8-2 as a road dog versus an opponent off a straight up against the spread loss. That's what happened with the Bengals against our Chargers there last week. The 49ers are also 11-1 off a straight up road favorite loss. So that's big as well. And the 49ers are 7-1 in their last 8 as a non-conference dog, which was what came into with the opening line. So you can kind of throw that out if you want to. And Cincy, when the line came out, they were a slight favorite. So Cincy is technically 2-12 as a favorite of less than 7 points off a double digit against a spread loss. This is just a good spot. 49ers traveled well before. I think they can do it again. Give me the 49ers here in a really good spot.
Nice. Yeah, I've been back and forth on that game. I kept looking into it. And I'm just like, I'm going here, I'm going there. And then I kept switching. I'm like, all right, whoever's the dog, I'm taking. And then I was pissed. I'm like, once you told me today, I'm like, what, the 49ers are favored now? I'm like, damn it. Because I had like the Niners in like a system if they're an underdog, and then they switched. I'm like, I hate that. That's what happened to me with I had the Seahawks in my system a couple of weeks ago, and then they switched to that road favorite. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Oh,
like,
against Washington, yeah.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we got one more game here. You got the Monday night big game over here. Rams at Cards. Cards are -2.5. Where are we going here, Russ, for the big game?
I actually have the Rams here, and just looking at the line, it's just talking to me too. So the public has ridden off the Rams these past weeks. So I'll take them here in a spot where they want revenge versus the Cardinals, who actually beat them pretty handedly earlier in the season. We still don't know how healthy Kyler is, as he only had 123 passing yards last week in that Bears victory. The Rams had their small stint where they struggled, but now all these new pieces, they're all playing together now as they got those new pickups. This will be the first time this season the Rams are actually going to be underdogs. So Kyler Murray, when he's favored by 6 points or less in his career, he's 3-9 against the spread. So he's great as an underdog. He beats up on the bad teams, but when favored versus good competition, he doesn't get the job done. So give me the Rams here +2.5. And I think there's another stat like McVay's probably like something like 8-1 against the spread, I heard. All time or something against the Cardinals. So he's owned them. This is the only time McVay lost to the Cardinals, I think, against the spread was this season. So with him having revenge, a great coach coming back too as an underdog, I'll definitely take them in this spot.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the Rams are 7-1-1 against the spread in their last 9 meetings against the Cardinals, but they're also 6-0 in their last 6 meetings in Arizona. So they have played well in the desert. The road team is also favored well in this matchup, being 4-1-1 against the spread in their last 6 meetings in this matchup. So this is a good spot for the Rams. I mean, originally I was looking at this and I kind of liked the Cardinals at first with this, but it's a tough game on the board here. But I do like where you're at with the Rams, people running them off, a game that they actually really do need to win more than the Cardinals. And there's probably gonna be a lot of public on the Cardinals just to win by a field goal. So you're buying a team low that was pretty much a Super Bowl favorite. You know, lines are made based on public perception each week. So that's something.
We've been overreacting the past couple of weeks saying, oh, Cardinals, yeah, they're the best team in the NFC or whatever. But now we look at the spread and they're only -2.5 at home. So definitely a trap spot right there.
Yeah, and Mitch is checking in. I actually kind of like this perspective here. Ride the under. McVay will want to slow it down. I mean, in my opinion, we all know the Rams that were always good with the play action. running the ball, everything established with the running game. But since they've had Stafford, they've been trying to throw a lot bit more, and that's kind of
Mhm.
throwing off McVay's kind of system. Like he's overusing a Stafford that can really throw well. Why not just have him run the ball a bunch and play good defense and keep that ball out of Kyler Murray's hands? I like that under right there. I think it's pretty high though. I'm thinking
Yeah, I would think it's gotta be like a 50 or something
51,
probably.
51 and a half. I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
a really hard fought game. I actually like that under match. I would roll with that. I like that play a lot.
And
I'm probably
and you
gonna
gotta
play that
think
myself.
Rams defense as a dog, when those great defenses come in as an underdog, that's when they come showing up right there. So, I mean, you saw the Patriots
Mhm.
last week, great defense as an underdog. Those teams come in and play great defense.
Yeah, and I'm looking at what the Rams did recently. Yeah, they played the Jags. They only held them to 7 points, but the last other
Mhm.
games, they gave up 36 to Green Bay. They gave up 31 to San Fran. They gave up 28 to Tennessee. They gave up 22 to Houston. They've been getting up a lot of points besides last week. Maybe this is the time that we need to see, this is like Rams wake up calls last week. Like, hey,
Mhm.
we're a good defense. We have a lot of good guys we signed. This defense should be getting after it. Maybe they'd show a little something this weekend and people start
Yeah,
talking
that's the
about the
weird
Rams a little
thing
more.
about, like, the Rams, like, all their defensive stats, like, got worse, but it's just, like, it's because they're that type of team now where their offense is so much better, so they used to step up their game for Goff, who would basically get off the field right away, like, Stafford might just be putting up quick points. When they put up
Mhm,
28, 30 points, it makes that defense stay out on the field much longer, so, but definitely a spot where the Rams have already hit their low. They had that 3-game losing
mhm.
streak. We know that they're a good team. They're a playoff team. They're going to start and what are the Cardinals? They're going to go undefeated in the division. I
No,
just don't see that happening
no,
either.
that's not
So
happening.
the Cardinals were predicted to have like 8 wins before this season started. So no matter what they do, they're a great team this year. No matter what, they're still going to overachieve no matter they win
No
12,
matter what
13
happens.
games. Yeah, exactly. So this just seems like a one of those good spots, and this is a night game and they're on the road and only plus 2.5. It's just way too fishy for me. I'll take the Rams here for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a fishy line for sure. And Jason's checking the
Mhm.
Cardinals defense is going to give Matthews a hard time. And you know what? They might, and that's good for the under as well. It's good. It
Mhm.
could be a really hard fought game. Both defenses playing really well. A Ram squeaking out a win could happen, but like Mitch said, I think that under is that's a really good play. I like that play. I'm probably gonna be playing it myself. But I think it's going to be a hard fought game. I think this over is a little too high just because of the Cardinals and the Rams have been scoring points and everything. They just scored 37 last week, 28 before then, so they have been scoring. So they can't make the over under that small. But this is just going to be a good spot where this is going to be a hard fought game. So
Mhm.
I.
And all these quarterbacks that just come back from their injuries, nobody's really doing anything special when they're coming back from these injuries.
Mhm.
If you looked at that Kyler Murray game, last week, the Bears just gave away actually turnovers and just gave the Cardinals points last week because I saw Kyler was like 5 for 7 and it was already like the third quarter. He didn't even throw like any passes at all in that game. So who knows, like if he's going to still have some rust, and it's not good to have some rust when you're facing a playoff caliber team coming back from that injury. So um, definitely, I'm sure he'll be nervous on Monday Night Football too. But take a look back at all these games where the Cardinals are favored. Like they faced the Vikings earlier in the season, they ended up winning that game by like a point or something. It was decided by
Mhm.
a field goal. They just when they're favored because Kyler Murray, he loves being an underdog because all he does is scramble and he catches up to teams if he is the dog, but now he's
Yeah.
getting placed in that favorite position. Some guys just don't like being in that position right there.
Yeah, some guys love that underdog role, and that's
Mhm.
Murray's that scrambling quarterback that can get you that back door, or just getting those wins out of nowhere. He is that kind of quarterback, but teams just have certain spots. Like the 49ers, like I talked about, they were in a terrible spot against Seattle where it was like a must-win game for them, and it
Mhm.
just it was push came to shove, and the Seattle was just in a great spot. It's not that Seattle's better
Mhm.
than the 49ers. It's just the spot of the season and the desperation of a team. And this Rams team
Exactly.
is desperate for this win, I feel like. And I don't think, the Cardinals really need this game as bad. And they do have talent on this Rams team. It's going to be an awesome game to watch,
Yeah,
regardless.
that's sometimes when you guys make your picks, sometimes you gotta be scared because when I saw the Seahawks against 49ers, I'm like, I'm like, nah, I can't take the Seahawks here or whatever. And then you're just like, it just makes sense. It's all about the situation. Doesn't matter how ugly the team's playing. They pull it out. It's just how it is with NFL. Not all stats matter. Like we could talk about top 10,
Hmm.
bottom 10 all day
Right.
and certain stats, but there are just special situations that work. Like Garoppolo was the one that was going to struggle in that game against Seattle. The defense played very well, and a favorite with a quarterback not playing well, you don't want to take those type of favorites.
Yeah, I mean the stats do help and everything, and I
Hmm.
preach some stats here and there. Everything it's not the end all be all. At the end of
Exactly.
the day, Russ and I have been handicapping games for oh god, I don't even know, like for a really long
Getting
time.
old.
We're old. We've been doing it for a long time. So I mean, we've seen it all practically. We've seen a lot of spots where we made mistakes before, and we've learned from them, and that's what we're trying to preach to you guys over here because sometimes it does back up with the stats, but sometimes there's just situations that we've seen time and time again where,
Hmm.
some teams need it more. And, they do have the talent. Maybe they just haven't achieved that talent yet, or they've been in a little slump at that point, but they still have it, and that's what it comes down to. So the games that we like, just to recap in general, I'm going to go down the board right over here, to tackle the board over here. We got the team total over for the Chiefs. Russ and I both like the Cowboys laying the 3.5. I also like the Broncos laying the 7.5. Russ also likes the team total under on the Jets and Saints game. 49ers Bengals. I love the 49ers in that spot there against the hurt Bengals. And finally, Russ, he likes the Rams plus 2.5 on Monday night. And that's going to do it for us. Short little episode, no college football this week, but
Hmm.
fear not, bowl season is upon us next week. I cannot wait to dive deep into some bowl games that I really like. And yeah, along with the NFL card. And we've been red hot. So we're going to keep it rolling, keep this week going for the most part. And I'm glad we agreed on a game that, we
Hmm.
don't talk about the games, what we like in them, but we talk about what games we're playing. We both had this game circled, and we're both on the right side. It doesn't always happen, but when it
Hmm.
does, it works out pretty well, Russ.
Definitely.
So, but that'll do it. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Ebomb. That is Russ Reese. You can find him at Vegas Line Reader. I think I might make a little appearance on Sunday on a little Twitter space, possibly do a little
Nice.
talking, a little recap of Sunday. I'm thinking we'll see. I'll keep you posted on Twitter. It's in the works, possibly. I'm probably gonna be joining on or something. We'll see what happens. But thank you, Jason, for checking in. We appreciate it. We're gonna continue making money for you, absolutely. And Russ, you got anything else?
Oh yeah, we're gonna make some more money this weekend. I just on repeat. We say it at the end of the show. We're gonna make some more money next weekend. Just gonna keep on happening. For anyone new watching the show, make sure you follow Chris. Make sure you follow me at Vegas Line Reader. Check us out. And guys, if you're watching this video, all you gotta do just hit the like button, like, subscribe, so you guys can watch this every Wednesday. We put these picks out, and next week we're gonna find some games for the college bowl games for you guys. So stay tuned for that. We'll hook you guys up with those picks with the NFL next week. So probably be a little bit longer of a show. So we'll get the studying and get you guys some good picks for next week. So let's make some more money.
That's right. Let's go tackle that board, Russ.
Let's go.